Provincetown!
Good morning, everybody. Wake up.
Wake up, wake up.
In Provincetown. This week featuring
Wake up, wake up.
Can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Make it strong, please. Hey. Oh. Hey.
Wake up, wake up.
Oh. No, really, can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up.
Exactly. Just kidding.
No,
we love you, Bob.
We do love you, Bob. Welcome. This is our last show that we are taping here at the Provincetown Business Guild in the Pride Center. They've been very generous to give us the space.
Yeah, a big thank you to them as offering us a home during our transitional period.
Lots of transitionings happening. Sorry, I'm trying to load us up onto all of our socials.
Marc's our social media manager.
Oh yeah, thank God. Yikes. We and just in time for our last show, they are taking down a tree across the street. So
Yeah.
you're probably going to hear a lot of shredding and not the guitar type.
Right, tree shredding, of course, like 40 feet away?
40 feet away, just on the other side of that glass right
Yeah.
there.
Marc, did you have a good week this
I
week?
had a great week. I did. We went after the show last week. It was first tea, so we all of us went over to tea dance, which was fun. You know, I can take it for like a chunk and then whatever.
I love First Tea because it's kind of everyone comes out for it.
Yeah.
A lot of people make special trips to town just to be a part of it. And I think in combination with the weather last week, it was the busiest First Tea I had ever seen.
And what was good about it is we also got to see, my friend was staying there. She's always there at First Tea and Last Tea. So I got to see one in his room, and I know they've redone all of the rooms.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, oh my God, you know, I'm the first guest in this room, and I've already banged my shins 3 times on this bed.
No.
Ew,
Well, there's a bed in the room. You got to be careful.
yeah, but it's like, you know, it's like a platform bed.
Fun.
Yeah. Anyway, but the rooms look great. They did a lot of work.
Yeah.
The mural is fantastic.
Mhm.
If you haven't seen it, the big rope mural in the buoy bar, and like the detail of the little circles in the cleats, it makes it look 3-dimensional. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
That is Josh Wilmuth who did that mural there. I think he's been working. I've seen him working this past week at the HRC, doing like a mural clapboard installation, which was really nice.
like what do they call it? Activating the space for selfies to people.
Yeah, right. Instagram engagement.
That's what they call it. That's what the people in the PR business
You have to
call it.
think about that now.
Yes, exactly. What is this going to look up? Before we get much further, I want to thank Beth Faraday for lending us this painting of hers, which is called I Could Be Yellow in the Morning and Orange by the Afternoon.
I love that.
Beth is one of the artists who have a studio at the Commons. But thank you, Beth, for giving us this for our last show here.
Yeah, her art is so beautiful. And I think it is just perfect to really brighten up a space. A lot of times you'll get P-Town art that is all blue and tan. And I like that she really introduces a ton of amazing color to like brighten up spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to match something in your house to this. So that's always good. And
also, before we get too far, and I want to remind everyone, now is a really great time to head over to Test and Treat to get tested and treated at the beginning of the season. Make sure your STI status is up to date before you start running around P-Town all summer.
Yeah, get it taken care of. We don't need any outbreaks to the resistant medication gonorrhea.
Yeah. Everyone be safe and
Please. Know your status.
Yeah,
Get
take
it
care of
taken
yourself.
of.
Yeah, one thing I did this week, we launched the 3rd episode of Queer Times.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we always are going to be doing a breaking news segment and then into like a kind of a more like evergreen topic that we can chat about. This past week, we talked about social media as our evergreen topic, just how queer people relate to social media and how the world relates to social media, honestly. And our breaking news story was about the raid on P-Town Bar.
I know. I was there last night. It was awful.
No, honestly, it scared me because I saw this headline saying P-Town Bar raided, and I was like, what the hell? But it turns out it was a bar in Pittsburgh that is called P-Town Bar. At around 11:30 at night, 20 plus armed uniformed officers as well as undercover agents came into P-Town Bar and asked all the attendees of the party at that moment to move outside. The hosting drag queen Indica continued performing outside in the parking lot while they did an inspection.
Compliance
check.
Yes.
There were officers from the liquor board, the fire department, as well as the police department. And I do think there was a real issue because the space only had a capacity of 70 people. Recently, the space did undergo a renovation, which made the space larger, but they never went through the proper channels to get relicensed for more people. So I do think they were in the wrong.
What I think probably happens and what happens and could happen here is every establishment you go into goes above capacity.
Yes.
Let's face it, we've all been in those rooms. But I think that also somebody who had, an issue with the club, whether it be because it's a gay club or just a business thing or whatever, just said, I know they need to update their license. I'm going to make sure that gets called in. Whether they needed all those cops to come in and do it, but have you been to that bar?
No.
I've been to that bar.
You have?
Yeah, I've been to.
You're from Pittsburgh?
No. But I love Pittsburgh. I have friends there, and it's a fucking awesome city. I absolutely love it. But no, the bar's kind of cool, and it's very much a little bit of everything kind of thing, like a very mixed group of people.
Oh, I love that.
I doubt that they needed a million cops to be there to do a compliance check.
Right. I think that was the most alarming thing. I've been a part of compliance checks. I've had the fire department show up at spaces that I was working in to check things, the liquor board, health inspections, and typically they don't happen. I've never been a part of one that happened at 11:30 at night. And even if there is a sound or a what is the occupancy thing, usually it's 2 or 3 cops that do show up and speak to someone and then have the management of the space rectify it, whether that's asking people to leave. But emptying the entire space is also kind of crazy. It just like, I'm not saying actually what happened was bad, but the lengths and I can't think of words today, but like the lengths they went to, it seems a little overboard.
Someone made a decision to bring in that many police officers.
Right.
So, and whoever that was, it was overkill for what they were going into.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
That's well. Let's hope we don't see one here at AP Town Bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to a talk this week up at the Adult Community Center for a second in a series that Lisa King does, a historian, Lisa King, who has now been made a town historian officially. I think,
cool.
Or something.
That's awesome.
She is badass, and I love it. And anytime you get a chance to go hear a talk by Lisa King, because she just puts up a picture and she says, no one else has this picture. There's a lady on the beach. I know the story of the lady on the beach and who her father was and the boat she's looking for.
That's so
it's
cool.
So detailed, and she has a eidetic memory or something. She like remembers everything she's ever seen, or like, she's like, I just look at maps, I spread them all out and I compare them or whatever. She's
as I sit here to come up with words, I'm very jealous of that.
And another interesting history thing. So at the monument, I went to a talk last night. David Dunlap and Sal Basque did this a little presentation before they opened up the exhibition of Sal's memorabilia, which he has graciously and donated to the Monument Museum. So Sal Vasquez was born here. I'm sorry, Vasque. Sal Vasque was born here, and then went into the Navy in 1961. Did his Navy thing and came back in 1965 and said, "I'm out of here. I don't think this is," and he was quoted yesterday. He said, "I don't think this is the place for me where I'm going to flourish." Turns out he is a gay man, has a partner for 50 years. Drove in his convertible to California and never came back except to visit his family. But he's always been a collector. Like he was that kid collecting things. He's like, "Oh, if I had stayed in town, I'd be at the dump every day," and like George Bryant, grabbing stuff. So his memorabilia collection was thousands and thousands of postcards, hundreds of books. Every little flyer, every time he would come, he would get the flyers off the racks and stuff. So it's a time capsule of the entire history of the town from this man. Who then decided, I'm 84 now, and I live in a 2-story house, and if I have to give up this house, what is my partner going to do with all of these fucking things?
Right.
So he paid to have them shipped, made an arrangement with the museum to have his collection go to the museum. So Sam Tager and other people built a new exhibit, and they can always rotate it out. They're going to disperse his collection throughout the museum. So if you ever get a chance, go up. Were you running those photos? Great. So it's just a lot of weird, quirky stuff, like a dumb thing that you would throw away, he saved. And it's fascinating because you're like, "Oh, remember that drag queen? She was here for like 3 months and she got run out of town." There she is.
Careless oldest time.
There she is on a flyer for her show that only ran one night because
That's
she
cool.
skipped out.
It's one of those things that's like garbage, or not garbage, but like something you wouldn't think to hang on to, but then however many years later, it's so interesting.
Yeah. The only thing that's collectible is something that doesn't say collectible. You know that, right?
Interesting.
Tell your parents or your grandparents, don't buy a collectible plate, because if they call it collectible, it isn't.
Interesting. Beanie Babies.
Oh my God. Don't get me started. My niece grew up on BB bin. They would get her one all the time from every little claw machine and everything. I was like, "You guys, what are you doing?"
They get rid of them all?
No, she passed them. But we laughed because when we were cleaning out my mom.
Some of them might be worth money.
Yeah, like what, Schmootsy or whatever.
No, that Princess Diana commemorable
elephant. The elephant.
No, it's like
elephant?
a purple bear,
It's a
right?
bear. Okay.
That one's worth money.
Sure, if you want to like go through all the trouble.
Yeah,
Collecting
they're worth
things-
like 20 grand.
Oh, all right. Well, you better get it.
Yeah, right.
Since she cannot go to school anymore because all of her shoes was supposed to go to grad school. And I said, "What'd you get into?" She's like, "Nothing." And I was like, "You didn't get into any grad school?" She's like, "No, they've cut all the funding. All the programs are done. So I have to move in with my parents right after my honeymoon." I was like, "Yeah, this is the unintended consequences."
Or the intended consequences.
Or the intended consequences. The Provincetown Independent has some really good things. Everything that passed that we wanted from here to Eastham.
Oh, great. We love
Mostly
that.
overlay districts,
Mhm.
zoning things, whatever. Really, really good things. Not even really contentious. Churro's meeting was 6 hours long, but people stayed, and they had more. They had more people there than we had in our town meeting. 400 something. Well, because we get tons of people at town meeting when there's like controversial things.
Was this town meeting a little?
Ours?
Yeah.
No, it was no controversy. But we did vote on something with our hands that has to be voted with your pen at town hall as far as elections go.
Yeah.
So you have to vote by May 13th. There's early voting, or you just go in on May 13th. And one of the things that we have to now sign off on with our signature, little oval thing, is the money for the fire department and police department funding, the full-time staff that we have to hire.
Oh, great.
So, and also,
Is today the last day of early voting? Because it usually ends the Friday before voting.
yeah, the signs aren't up, so I'm presuming they're not doing that anymore.
Gotcha.
They also, there is a sort of a strongly worded thing to send to the state government that says, hey, that nuclear power plant that's off-gassing the nucleotides just by steam evaporation. Yeah, can we make sure that they're stopped doing that, or that there's an oversight? Because it's just a private company, they can do whatever they want. Oops,
Especially now.
Yeah, we released all that radiation into the bay. Sorry.
And there's a question on that.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know what it's called, a thing. And then we vote for select board people, and then the people that are for the school board, and they're both want to be reelected. So it's all yeses as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. Also, the Coastal Resiliency Committee, which I am a part of, has a survey. Like we're putting out this report that's taken over a year to come together with recommendations, guidelines, et cetera. How high do you have to lift your house? How big do you have to put your seawall? What can the town do to, like, what is the town going to do to fortify? What are homeowners supposed to do to fortify, et cetera, et cetera. So this report's going into its final stages. If you or anyone you know has had flooding or any sort of things, or has ideas about coastal resiliency, the water is coming. There's no stopping it. It's going to happen. It's what we do in order to mitigate that. Please go to the town website, fill out the coastal resiliency survey because it's in its final things. The official report that will be read by people all over the world because we're one of the first people to actually do this comprehensive report.
Amazing.
And it's things that we have to do now, things to do in 10 years, things to do. Like if you see the sea level rise in 2070, so you'll see it, Ethan, presumably, the sea level will be up to this street unless we do something at like high tides. So this used to be a river, a little waterway over here on Brown Street. Yeah, at one point. So it's going to come back. Yeah. So anyway, that's a couple things. Yeah.
I've got some stuff.
Yeah, let's go.
What? So this coming Monday is Here to Pee, which is a comedy show that is touring the country. It's going to be in every single state, and it is coming to the Crown and Anchor this coming Monday. I think it's going to be hosted. Kristen Becker is hosting it. You can get tickets at only at thecrown.com. It's going to be a ton of fun. It is a comedy show, and it is to benefit Summer of Sass, as well as Here to Pee, which is donating money to trans bathroom issues. Yeah,
and we that was one of the things that we did at town meeting, was make sure that any new construction or converting the town bathrooms to all inclusive, which is fantastic.
Another thing that happened this past week in Boston at the Liberty Hotel was there's conflicting reports between the hotel and the people who this happened to. The story from the hotel is that a security guard went into a bathroom. There were two people in a single stall. He banged on the door. When he opened it, he saw what he thought was a man in the women's room and told this person to leave. The woman was like, no, I'm a woman. And then he still made them leave and show their IDs to prove that they were women. And their story is that they were simply in the bathroom peeing. They banged on the door. Because I understand if there's two people in a stall. If there's two people in one stall, like all bets are off.
Right. You are being removed.
The security guard, that's part of their job is to make that not happen. Yeah. But they said that for no moment were there both of them in the stall together. And this is one of those issues where I feel like with the trans bathroom bills that are coming up, it's created a problem because they were trying to solve a problem that never existed. Right. And I think more people should simply use the bathroom and not worry about the other people who are using the bathroom. When I go into a bathroom, I'm not there worrying about what anyone else is doing in this bathroom. I'm actually trying to pretend there are no other people in the bathroom.
I think and this is what the town's doing, is making sure bathrooms go to stalls, floor to ceiling things. So it doesn't matter what you are, you're in a bathroom totally private. Right. Like obviously if urinals are involved, that's like a totally different thing. And I don't think that people, if I'm using a urinal, I don't think that people of all genders would want to walk by me, and I don't necessarily want them to walk by me. As long as there's total privacy, and everyone should be using the same room.
Wouldn't everyone prefer that anyway?
Yes, absolutely. Right. So I think it's
but it's become an issue. The security guard, I guess, was suspended.
Yes.
And
and the hotel had put out a statement, as they would, and said, like, we are proud ally, blah, blah. We've hosted plenty of same-sex marriages, ceremonies, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is not who we are, So they were like, this guy, no.
Yeah. I also heard reports that there were people waiting to use the bathroom that told the security guard that there was a man in the women's room.
Now, all right, I'm gonna touch a third rail here. I saw the photos. They were gender non-conforming. She identifies as a woman. Yeah. If I saw them in the restroom, I would for a moment be like, oh,
But I would also be like, I don't care. You know?
Yeah, I understand that, but it depends on how the bathroom is set up. I guess is the thing. If it's not designed properly, then there is.
But I also think one of the biggest issues here is that people are now emboldened to police bathrooms, where before I don't think this would have been an issue.
No.
But I think with all the legislation happening right now, people all feel like they're responsible for policing the bathroom.
Yes, it's like oh, there's a lurker.
Yeah.
If there's a lurker, it's a white Republican man
Literally.
in a restroom doing something wrong.
Yeah, and I
based
love
on statistics.
Yeah, and I also love how even the Republicans who are putting forward these bathroom bills, they're like, what if this happens? And it always boils down to like, what if a cis man acts poorly? Like, we need to police trans people because we're afraid of cis men acting poorly.
Which is a constant issue always.
Right.
Ask any woman.
The only bathrooms I was in police are the Crown and Anchor's 4th of July party. Thank you. I can never get in.
They bring in porta potties.
Yes.
There's 3 people in there.
Right. Another thing happening in town, Angels in America opened last night. Congratulations to the cast there. I heard the show is absolutely incredible. I definitely heard it is something to be seen. I'm going to be seeing it in the coming weeks. But I did want to let everyone know that tonight is pay what you want night. So go tonight and pay what you want.
Yeah, and be generous. You know, if a martini costs $15, you can pay $25 to go see live theater for 3 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
you can.
don't be a
If you have the means to be generous, if you don't have the means but still want to see some really incredible art, this is a great opportunity for you to go. Also, I know there is an actor's box out front. Especially in the shoulder season shows, that actor's box is really important for the actors to have their time valued.
Yeah, if you could tip a drag queen who's lip syncing and flaming a fan
Drag
in your
them.
face.
Drag
No, if you
those
could tip a drag
queens.
queen at brunch, you can tip actors that have rehearsed for 6 weeks to perform on stage live in 3 hours. Sorry. Anyway, I went to the first event last night at the Commons, was part of the Outsiders Festival, and it was great. It was the collage show. It was like a bunch of people at this show that don't normally go to art openings. It was a really cool crowd. They took apart a piano. There's so many weird and cool things going on with this, and it's a new festival in town, and I support anything in the shoulder season that's trying to get something started. There's like Ronnie Hazel shop therapy, like that crazy house. Like
so
you
cool.
can go and get a tour.
Wait, is that the house over
The big
here?
green with the bright green. Yeah. So there is a tour of shop therapy and Ronnie Hazel's house, and that's going on at a certain time at 4:00. But if you got some coin, there for a special price, Ronnie Hazel himself will give you a tour on Sunday. So check out campprovincetown.com for all the things. And Hillary and I read a poem by Grace Gouveia through Jake Critchley a few weeks ago, and we're sort of recreating that along with. So it's called I don't know what it's called. Anyway, it's about Harry Kemp and Grace Gouveia. We're doing that at the Fine Arts Work Center on Saturday from 1 to 3. But again, it's going to be sort of like history of these people that are interesting and cool. And like we think of outsiders, there's always been outsiders here. We're at the end of a sandbar. So from way back when, there's always been weirdos here who find themselves stuck. Yeah, exactly. So that's what this kind of whole Outsiders Festival thing is. So
That's
please
amazing.
support it and check it out, because you're always going to see something that's not really anything else you're going to see anywhere else.
Another really cool thing happening today is they are breaking ground at Mada Fields. Next
It's
Friday.
next
Thank you.
We're gonna talk to Cheri about that. She has a little hand in that too.
Perfect. Well, we'll save it.
We don't want to take out. We don't. Yes, upcoming. Something that is upcoming next weekend is the Outer Cape Chorale Spring Concert, which is free. And it's at Town Hall next Friday and Saturday. Just if you want to go to their website, outercapechorale.org, and it's first called First Light.
Yep.
Yeah. Check it out. We've had them on the show. They're a lot of fun. And when you hear that many people singing at the same time, it's pretty powerful.
And they really do some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened last week, a record was set by me and Ethan's favorite, at least, Lady Gaga. She was at I think it's called Copacabana, or
the beach, yeah.
Cabana Club. Yeah, but she became the first solo artist with the largest crowd at a concert ever in the world. There are reports up to 2.6 million people attended the concert on the beach in Brazil.
Yeesh.
Sounds like a nightmare, I know.
No.
But she broke a record that was set just last year by Madonna, who had 1.6 million at the same venue. There have been 2 larger gatherings at that same venue, but they were, I think one was Rod Stewart was the headliner. But it was like a group of people performing. So Lady Gaga's the biggest solo artist, which is
Just imagine that many people. Like, so they must have screens all along the beach.
they do.
Yeah.
It was basically like
that beach
long
has like
venue.
1 million people on a slow day. It's like the Coca-Cola beach. So, yeah.
Exactly.
They just go out into the ocean.
Where isn't a bathroom?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about.
Yeah. Another really exciting thing for I know a lot of people in town this past Monday was the Met Gala.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the theme to the red carpet was tailored for you, and the theme of the exhibit inside that they were honoring was Black dandyism. And people really turned out, but I feel like the Met Gala is getting a little stale. I don't know.
Maybe this year it was stale. I think in the past there's been like those crazy.
But that's what I mean. Like the theme was tailored for you and Black dandyism, and like 95% of people were black and white,
which is
They're stale.
boring.
That's true. That's true. I also watched for the first. Usually, I just like go to Vogue.com and swipe through all the pictures. But I was like, I'm gonna watch the actual presentation, and it was a live stream through Vogue.com. You could watch it on YouTube. And I do have to say, a hats off to everyone here at Wake Up, because I feel like our live streams were so much better than what they were doing.
Ooh,
It was really, really not great. You missed half the people. They didn't have any banners like we probably have right here. A banner.
No, it's to the left.
Okay, over here.
There's the banner.
Um,
A chyron. I believe they're called chyrons.
So there were no banners. So half the time they were showing people, and I was like, I don't know who this person is. The interviewers, although were great and charismatic, they never asked people who they were wearing, who designed the clothes, which is like, isn't that the whole point of why we're here? And Tana Taylor, I love to death, but anyone who's been in front of a camera or on stage knows you have to cheat out to the audience.
Hi, camera.
And she spent the whole time facing, like if you're the camera, because you are, she spent the whole time in front of the other interviewer facing this way. And it was just.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds great.
But that's fine. You can hire me, Bob, Marc, Sam, the Wake Up crew to do it next year.
Yeah, we'll go to the Met Gala.
Yeah.
And I know there's like a lot of chatter because people are just stupid. The Met Gala is a fundraiser. Like, oh yeah, when they raised $26 million, where's that money go? It goes to support the Fashion Institute Museum, because when they set it up, they had a bylaw or whatever it was that said in their charter that museum, that section museum that treats costumes and clothing and whatever as art and as history needs to be self-funding.
Yeah.
So that is what.
Yeah, so it is a fundraiser. It does go to the museum and specifically the Costume Institute. It's $75,000 for a ticket after you get invited.
Oh yeah,
So you get invited
only, and
to
then
spend $75,000.
Yeah, but like the record company buys the, like
Yeah.
Little,
The design.
Little Naz is not spending $75,000.
He could if he wanted to.
If he wanted to.
Yeah, the people that I was most excited to, and I feel like this won't be a shock for anyone, the people that I was most excited were the players from the WNBA who got invited. So Angel Reese was there wearing Tom Brown, looking absolutely amazing. It's not her first time at the Met Gala, but she really showed out for this one. She looked absolutely amazing. And also the big three, as well as the owner of the New York Liberty were there. Jonquil Jones, who was the MVP of the series, the final series last year, as well as Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu, as well as the owner of the team were there, and they all looked fantastic.
Was one of them dressed like the elephant?
No.
Oh.
That would have been amazing
that elephant
if
now.
Ellie the elephant was at the Met Gala next year.
Branding.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's even louder. Yay. Something else that's happening tonight. My friend Michael Kohler has lived here, was back in my heyday in the 90s. He's a fantastic photographer. You have seen his images in a lot of different places, like pictures of the old fishermen and whatever. And so he has a show at Spiritus that opens tonight. It's called Even Keel. And they're just really great black and white portraits. He also made a movie called There's No Business Like Dough Business, and it is the documentary of Spiritus.
Oh,
And the history of Spiritus. Did you know there was one down in like Wellfleet or something?
No.
Yeah.
I knew they used to be across the street where like Big Vin's is, right? Or not Big Vin's.
Yes.
Across the street.
Across the street.
Where what is?
Where Roots
Oh,
is.
right.
But I mean, it's a really, I saw a rough cut of the documentary last year. It's going to be closing night of the film festival. They're screening this documentary. That's on the 15th of June. And then they're going to show it at the Monument outside on August 5th. So if you get a chance, go check out Michael's photos at Spiritus this week.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I know we did the night. Wow,
Yeah,
we're really,
we did it all.
we're clicking along.
Yeah. Let's head over to Sam with the roundup.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Wake Up Weekly Roundup with me, Sam Sewell, for the week of May 9th through May 15th. It is spring, and I am still on my flowers BS, so for your viewing pleasure, please enjoy these litany of flowers that I have taken pictures of around town. I mean, look at these colors, the trees, they're just so beautiful. Happy spring! All right, there is a lot going on. Starting today, Friday, Camp Provincetown brings you the Outsiders Festival, and you can get the full lineup at campprovincetown.com. And you can also check out this beautiful poster. I'm assuming James Ryan made this, but to whoever made this poster, you're having me consider making a poster contest. I think you might win. Congratulations, and I will see you at the Outsiders Festival happening now through May 11th. Also happening now is the membership drive at the Provincetown Film Society. You can get your last day in for the membership drive today. Become a member at provincetownfilm.org and check out to see what they're playing. They have some really great selections, so go become a member today. Also playing tonight, Something Rotten. Congratulations, y'all. It's your opening night, so go check them out tonight and tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. at the Provincetown IB School. Also happening tonight, St. Mary's of the Harbor is showing Cloudburst. Doors will open at 6 p.m. and movie starts at 7 p.m. with free movie and food. That sounds awesome. Also, Angels in America is playing. Congratulations and happy opening. Their Part 2 Perestroika is back at the Provincetown Theater, and you can go check them out now. Also, happening tonight, RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars viewing party is happening with Tina Burner and Mackenzie. Doors at 7, show at 8. RuPaul's Drag Race never ends. Come on, All-Stars. Then on Saturday, you can celebrate all weekend long with the variety of drag brunches at the post office. Congrats, queens. Your shows are up and running, and they're looking beautiful. Then on Sunday, I just want to take a moment to shout out Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas here, there, everywhere. Thank you so much for everything that you have done, and Happy Mother's Day. And if you're in Provincetown, you can celebrate Mother's Day with Mommy Queerest, hosted by Tina Burner, at 11 and 1 p.m. over at the Crown and Anchor. Happy Mother's Day. Also, later that night, you can celebrate with Ricky Lee Jones at the Provincetown Town Hall, happening at 5 p.m., courtesy of Payamet Performing Arts Center. And later that night, if you want to come out to the Full Moon Beach Bonfire, the full moon will be out. I will hopefully be there with my guitar, and it'll be happening around 7:30ish, so come to Herring Cove Beach to celebrate the full moon. On Monday, Here to Pee will be at the Crown and Anchor, trans comedians raising funds to fight anti-trans bathroom bills. Doors will be at 7 and the show is at 7:30. Get your tickets now. Then on Wednesday, you can celebrate Kook Kook Choo. Donnelly and Robertson present the songs of Simon and Garfunkel at the Provincetown Theater, starting at 7 p.m. And on Thursday, the Creative Art Show is at the Provincetown Adult Community Center. This is happening at 3 p.m. all the way till 5 p.m. And for more information, you can phone 508-487-7080. Also on Thursday, Fascination Provincetown is back in town, celebrating kink programming for those in our extended community, happening May 15th, May 16th, and May 17th and 18th. Also on Thursday, the Gifford House invites you to the House of Strauss fashion show and benefit auction, all in support of the legendary Thirsty Burlington. This will be happening at 6 p.m. Upcoming, the Outer Cape Chorale presents Into the Light, happening at Town Hall on May 16th and May 17th. Always a joyous occasion to get together with the Outer Cape Chorale. Also sound the trumpets because the Provincetown International Film Festival has announced their lineup for their 27th annual festival, happening June 11th through the 15th, with a beautiful array array of names slated to receive awards and present films, and they've also announced that you are cordially invited to the Provincetown Film Society prom. This year's theme is Footloose, so everybody get your dance ready. If you would like to see something presented on the Wake Up Roundup, please email it to me, wakeuproundup@gmail.com, along with a little graphic and a blurb that you'd like me to read. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, everyone. It's one of my favorite times of year where the weather starts to get nice, there's not too many people on the streets, and the light is just spectacular. Have a wonderful week.
Sam, for that weekly roundup. There's so much to do.
So much to do. Spring is here. Please welcome Cheri Ruane. She is from the firm of Weston and Sampson, who are our designers for our big sort of park projects.
Mhm.
How did you get on this show today?
Yeah, we'll start there.
We'll start there.
Right under the bus.
Right.
No.
I was a proud supporter of the fundraiser for the Provincetown Film
Mhm.
Festival / Society, all the things. So I did bid on this. I will fully confess, it's not in media.
Oh,
But
it is.
I was bragging. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting interviewed. Now they're like, oh, I see.
Please. Thank you for not letting us flop a surprise, and also thank you for supporting the Film Society.
Yeah, and,
You're welcome.
and also, but I mean, if I had even, I would have tracked you down anyway.
Well,
It's very exciting that we have these two big municipal projects, and
Yeah.
It's awesome.
so
Yeah,
the
next Friday is going to be a big day for
It
you.
is for both.
Wrapping up
parks.
one, opening up another.
Yeah, starting construction on another. Yeah.
Tell us a little about the project over at Canary Warf. I've had the opportunity to swing a little.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
On swings is what he's talking about.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. No, he swings a little. Trust me.
Hey.
So that park actually is such an amazing site in town. And as I'm sure you all remember, it was a parking lot run by none other than Elena.
Elena.
Hall, who, even well beyond her time on Earth, maintains a strong presence in
Mhm.
town. Everyone knows of her.
Yeah.
So the town bought the property from Elena, and she cooperated. Special shout out to Dennis Minsky, who I think was instrumental in making that happen. So the town bought the property, and I will tell you that I was walking by the property, and one day there was a sign. This was years ago that said, "This is a public park," and I'm like, "Oh, girl, what's happening
Isn't it a
here?
public
Is
park?"
it though? Is it? So I immediately, Karen'd it and was like, "Who's in charge of this?" So, yeah, no, I wasn't going to stand by and let that be your public open space.
Yeah.
So when I called Brandon Mada, who's the rec director, and Caroline, who really runs the show, if we're being honest, they said, "Listen, we have an open space plan coming out. Fill out the survey, much like the coastal resiliency survey, and put in the comment." So of course, as a landscape architect, I put in a very specific comment about how can this possibly be your public open space? It's not accessible, it's not inclusive, it's not resilient. So they put out a request for proposals for a designer. It was December of 2020, so COVID peak. Everyone's triple masked. And the day they had a pre-proposal meeting on the site, 25 landscape architects drove from Boston, mostly. I know there were a few of you that were closer, to the site in separate cars because COVID, stood there and chatted with Tim Famulare, who gave us like the overview, and then we all submitted on the proposal. And I said to my team, we are winning this project. So we did. And we had a really awesome time with the public engagement. We were out there on Saturdays doing park open houses. We got feedback from tons of folks. We did office hours on Zoom if folks weren't around. And we basically combined all of those ideas and put together a concept. And then we had folks give us feedback on the concepts, and we came up with one preferred plan that is fully accessible from Commercial Street to the beach, that is resilient. So as the tide rises, the way that the park is designed, There's not a seawall. It's more of a subtle series of
Right.
elevation changes. And it's not armored. It's more, we've used terrace seating and stairs and retaining walls that are also timelines to dovetail in resilient measures into the park, but it's really for people. So that's the idea.
And I think that the proof of when people say, they don't really listen to my comments, they do.
Oh, absolutely.
You fill out a survey
There's
that
no
the
question.
town is like getting that information.
Right.
And there's always going to be a good idea or like,
Sure.
maybe that's not a good
I
idea.
have an example of that actually.
Yeah. Yep.
So a dear friend of mine came to one of the public events and I think just knew that she basically was going to make my life a living hell and said,
As friends do.
don't you think it would be great to put a water slide in this park? And someone overheard her and was like, oh, that's a good idea. I was like, I'm going to murder you.
This town needs a water park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, crisis averted.
Water slide.
Yeah.
No, I like that it's classic.
Yeah.
And it is, there's not a lot of infrastructure that was installed there that would be in peril
That's
for
right.
storms.
So we used 3 strategies. We used retreat, which is we pulled the most important features up out of the floodplain. We used protect, which is where those terraced seating areas and retaining walls are. And then we used accommodate. So when the water comes in, everything can flood and the water will recede. And with leaf blowers and power washers, the park should be just fine.
Amazing. Tell us a little about the resources that we now have at the park. I know there's swings, tables,
Yeah,
bathroom.
there is a bathroom.
In the East End,
Tell
there's
me
a
about the bathroom. I couldn't figure it out.
Okay, so it's called the Portland Loo. It's a specific model that is a step up from a porta potty because it flushes and does have a little water spout on the outside to wash your hands. So it's better than a porta potty, but so much smaller than a restroom building, which would have taken up a third of that site.
Right.
And couldn't be built anyway because it was in the floodplain. So we found the solution. If there ever were to be a flood, it would just fill up with water because there's louvers on the bottom, which did earn it the moniker Turd Cage on Facebook. Whoever came up with that, that was a great month
Sam,
of my
was it
life.
you?
Thank you.
Turd.
Anyway, so it is fully inclusive. It is fully accessible. It is for one user at a time per your earlier conversation, and it will be seasonal. So it'll be open,
Okay.
because it's Plum.
I went like last week and I couldn't tell if you had to like how to get in or not.
Yeah.
But, like I didn't.
It will be unlocked
Gotcha.
during daylight hours while it's not freezing out because it is plumbed because it does flush. So-
And it has a hand dryer.
So you are doing a ribbon cutting on that park next Friday?
That's right. And the lieutenant governor is coming, which we're pretty stoked about. And they pushed the time back a little bit so that we could all take the ferry. We did absolutely pick the same ferry that she'll be on. So any issues, let me know. I'll chat her up on the ride over. But before that, we're actually going to do a groundbreaking for Mada Fields,
It
which is
never
up
stops.
on the backside of the monument. And that is going to be an active recreation park, where Canary is a passive recreation park. There's interpretive signage. There's a very cool sign that actually was Brandon Mada's idea, which is the frame that has an image of what Canary Warf used to look like. And if you stand behind it and look out at the water, you can see what the pier, it's so cool. So we do listen to people's ideas.
Oh,
especially
yeah, it is really well designed. And like what's happening at Mada Field, the other way think, oh, we're spending all this money. The town didn't spend any money for decades
That's right.
on any infrastructure.
That's
so
right.
when that park, when we
Yeah.
went to town meeting, it was like nothing's been spent on that for 30 years. You have to maintain your
Right.
public assets.
And we heard a lot of voices saying that they want to increase the diversity of active recreation because they want to draw more families. And so in order to do that, we need a kick-ass skate park that will be in there. There are going to be some play equipment. There's going to be exercise equipment. There's going to be a 400-meter track. There's going to be a multi-use field that includes a baseball diamond. There's going to be pickleball.
Great.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Tennis.
Yeah.
There's going to be an amphitheater for outdoor performances and community gatherings. Yeah, it's going to be the best.
Yeah.
So we're super psyched about
Also,
it.
I know a lot of people don't realize that we have schools and children in town.
That's right.
But we do, and it is a truly incredible school system. And to have this as a resource for them is So important.
Because it's
Yeah.
technically not
Mm.
their field, but it
Oh
is
yeah,
the
that's
sport-
where
it is the
that's
sport
where
field.
phys ed
Yeah.
goes. That's where the rec summer program goes. So right now they huddle under a temporary tent when it's too hot out, and they run around on the lawn. And this is just going to completely be a game changer.
And also, we talk about DEI initiatives, and this is in action. DEI is also like, I am a Bulgarian kid coming over for the summer. I don't have money to spend on a gym membership, $500 a month or whatever the hell they charge in
Right.
the summertime. Like, that's why this outdoor sports equipment,
Yes.
push-up bars and all that
Exactly.
stuff was included.
That's
and
right.
For everybody.
Yeah, and it's now completely accessible. I don't know if you've traversed the stairs, but
I
don't
have,
because
yeah.
it's a neck breaker. It's going to be a completely inclusive sloped walkway with stairs at that corner with the amphitheater.
Exciting.
It's so exciting. And if it's anything like Canary Warf Park, it's going to be beautiful as well.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
great.
And the time for comments on the design, that happens.
Over? Okay,
That happens.
okay.
You don't get to go
Yeah.
and never look at a meeting or
Right.
online and come in and say, why is it brown? Because
Right. Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys. I
Thank you
really
for doing this
appreciate
great
it.
work. Thank you for supporting the Film Society. Thank you for supporting us. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh wait,
Thank
and we are going to shout out. You just got a big promotion.
I did. Thank
What
you.
What is the promotion?
I am going to be the chief development officer for the entire firm.
And
So,
where is the firm based? Just in Boston area or?
East Coast,
Oh,
from
cool.
New Hampshire down to Florida.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats. It's because of these two amazing projects
Pretty
you brought
much.
in, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
We
We
love
got
that.
she's going to be too grand for us. We'll never see her again. Well,
Not true. Not true. This is the one client I will let no one else have.
Perfect.
Everyone else is like, when do we get to work on Provincetown?
No.
I'm like, never.
never. You're in it for the long haul.
That's it.
Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Awesome.
All
And
right.
good luck next Friday. It's a big day.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I hope
go
to
down
see
to
everybody there.
What time is the
Yeah.
opening?
So 10:30 is the groundbreaking, and then after that, at 11 or 11:30 is the ribbon cutting at the park. So I hope to see everybody there.
Some congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's head over to Lucinda with the weather. Traffic.
Either one.
Yeah.
It's me, whoever I am, out in the streets of Provincetown getting the fresh news stories for you as Wake Up's traffic reporter. And spring returners to Provincetown might be noticing that homes on Commercial Street are getting a lift. If I knew all I needed to do to get a lift of my own a couple of years ago was to have beings live inside of me, my gosh, I'd be rolling around in the cemetery each night trying to conjure a possession. But due to new flood delineation that will allow insurance companies to continue stealing from people during sea level rise, and a FEMA law that requires structures going under certain renovation to be lifted, Commercial Street is going up. Yeah, FEMA, while it exists, hasn't put any money into making a carbon capture facility, but maybe you can get a little money from them to put your house on stilts, because that's sustainable. Anyway, with the new height, it will be an excellent reminder that here in Provincetown, we don't sweep things under the rug, we wash things under the porch. But if you are visiting Provincetown this spring in a vehicle, make sure you take Bradford Street as far as you can go, because with all this construction going on, Lucinda Lipple will be on Commercial Street, stopping traffic, trying to get men in tool belts to take her comedy walking tour of town. Anyways, back to whoever's hosting today.
Thank you so much, Lucinda.
Welcome, please, the one, the only Lesle Marchessault from the Provincetown Commons, Executive Director.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
We had you on just a year ago for your welcome into
Yes,
the Commons, and
yeah.
now we have you on again for your 1-year anniversary.
Yes, I know. Did you plan that?
Of course.
Yeah.
So what?
That's how organized we are here.
Oh, very. So, it's been your first year in this important organization. Like, what? Give us your
The rundown?
the
Yeah.
rundown of
Yeah.
all that you've done.
Well, we've done a lot. We have our big fundraiser at the end of this month called Back to the Beach. It's our second annual fundraiser. We are doing, we just completed our creative development series, which is our teaching artists the business side of being an artist. That was from January to April. Those classes are all free in the off season. My gosh, this tree is so distracting.
If you're watching, all you can see is me be like,
Yeah. We are also celebrating our a little plus year of our artists being in the Shank Painter Studios. So we rented a space on Shank Painter, and we have 8 artists over there. We have 10 studio artists at the Commons. We also just did our first round of grant making with our Changemakers Fund. We awarded 12 organizations organizations and individuals who are doing really incredible activist work in Provincetown up through Orleans. And we also began the Benji Fund last year in memory of our friend Benji. And that money goes to help supplement studio costs and art materials and things like that for artists who are working in Provincetown. So we're doing a lot. We're looking more towards programming this year. I do have some ideas for programming in the summer, but I haven't announced them yet, so I'm not going to tell you.
Well, if you don't know what the Commons is, it's an amazing co-working space. So if you are in town for the summer and you're doing some work, you don't want to be at your home office, and it's a way to and you pay a fee, and that supports the lower cost studios that you provide artists.
Yep. So in 2017, a group of townspeople, artists and business people got together and asked community members what they wanted. And in 2017, community members said, we want remote working space and we want artist studios. And so we have that. We have remote working space. We have artist studios. There's 10 artists that are in the building. And then we also do exhibitions annually. So each October, we look at the applications for exhibitions, and then we plan the next year. So that this year coming up, we have 50 artists who are showing, and we prioritize people who live on the Outer Cape, don't have gallery representation, or are emerging in some way. And what's unique about the Commons too is that the artists control all their own sales, so they keep 100% of the
Oh, I didn't realize that. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Beth Verity is one of the artists in residence at the studio. And they are. It's not like, oh, I'm moving in here, I'm never going anywhere. It's a time. There's a time limit on the.
Yep, it's a 3-year. Yep, a maximum of a 3-year term, but they can, we work with them and we can adjust as necessary.
And I also love that it's not, each studio has, a lot of them have 2 or 3 people in the studio.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah.
So it creates this kind of community of workers. And as I've chatted with them, kind of everyone is appreciative of that environment. And it's not necessarily a collaborative thing, but it's a support thing. It's an energy thing.
Yeah, it's kind of that mimics the co-working space, right? It's people are working alongside with other people. And even people who we interview and say, oh, I've never worked in a shared space before. When they come in, they're always like, oh my gosh, this is so great, because, you just talk to people. And I really feel like the Commons is a place where people come together in so many different ways. And I feel like it's part of our mission and part of what we're there to do is to connect people. And they people who are working creatively and people who are working on their laptop and just typing away all day, they come together in the kitchen and they start a conversation. And before you know it, there's a collaboration or a shared opportunity to do something. So
or ideas that are fostered and grown, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And also community events. There's the pie contest, which is a great thing that happens in the fall. There's the fashion show, Cheri's fashion show, which has turned into a huge community event.
Yep.
Which the Bplot Reading series.
Oh,
yep, that goes there. And we're also doing the Winter Windows project, and we also just completed a project with Phil Jimenez, working up at Provincetown Schools with the school children. Phil Jimenez, who is a comic book artist, and he made a comic with them. So in a couple of weeks, we'll be showing.
Oh, and Phil will be on the show to talk about that.
Yes, that's right. Cool. I know, it's going to be really fun. They actually, I'll let him tell you about how they chose what type of comic they chose, but it's very fun.
And also, I'm maybe you don't want me telling everyone this, but they are so supportive of anything. If you come to them with an idea, you need a space, or you kind of never say no.
That's the motto. No, we start with yes. We start with yes, and then we try to see if we can make it happen. But we're there for the community, and that's that is how we serve the community.
We did our select board debate there a few years ago. I was part of Todd Flaherty's new script reading there, which was so cool. Yeah. I always go to the Bplot Reading series.
There's so many different activities there, and it's fantastic. And if you don't know now, our new home, or at least our 6-week home, is going to be at the Commons. Again, graciously, they offered us to use the space while we get our other location up and running. So thank you for that.
We are very excited to have you.
I'm excited to be there.
Yeah. And then you get a new piece of art behind you every week.
Yay.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming in today. Shout
it's very loud.
We'll have you on again in a year for another check-in.
In a year?
Yeah, every year.
Yeah, okay, that sounds great.
Well, when we're there for the next few weeks, you could always just hi.
I'll just do one of these.
Right. Let's head over to Sean with the weather.
Good morning, Provincetown, and greetings from lush, green, and rainy Westport, Connecticut. I grew up here in Westport, and I zipped down yesterday for a quick doctor's appointment, but don't worry, I'll be back in town later today. Yesterday was glorious, abundant sunshine, highs in the upper 70s down here, and my very first boat ride of the season. Just a few more days until I'm back on the water in P-Town, and I can't wait. Now, let's talk weather. Here is your 6-day Provincetown forecast as we head into mid-May. Today starts off cool and cloudy with temps around 53. Rain is expected by the afternoon along with increasing winds, so pack that slicker and umbrella. If we're lucky, it'll stay to the north and the west of us. Saturday brings a bit of morning drizzle, but skies clear midday with highs around 60. Sunday looks delightful, full sunshine and a high of 65. Perfect for Mother's Day. Monday is partly to mostly sunny with afternoon breezes and highs in the mid-60s. Tuesday stays sunny and mild, nearing 66, though winds will pick up later in the day. And Wednesday rounds it out with a mix of clouds and sun, high near 68. All in all, a gorgeous weather week ahead with just enough spring drama to keep it interesting. On the tide front, Monday night's full flower moon means we're seeing tides around noon and midnight this weekend. But don't worry, it's not too dramatic, so your feet should stay dry if you're planning to do some late night exploring. Early morning and late afternoons are going to be best for pup walks on the beach. And yes, the flower moon rises Monday night in all its luminous glory. Named for May's abundant blooms, this moon traditionally signals growth, fertility, and the promise of summer. If skies stay clear, and I think they will, it'll be a perfect night for a moonlit beach bonfire or just a long look skyward. Finally, quick reminder, today is first tee, the first dog tag tee, of the season. So polish those boots and report for duty starting at 4. With a little luck, we will dodge the rain. Saturday tee looks brighter, and Sunday's solid gold Mother's Day tee should be a stunner. That's it for me. For those of you in town, I'll see you later today at tea. Mom, I love you so much. And to all our moms out there, happy Mother's Day. Guys, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Sean. And call your mother. Everybody.
Yeah.
Some people do.
That's true. Please welcome Rob Cromwell. He is from the Provincetown Independent, amongst many other things. I can't believe it's your first time on the show.
I know, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Robert, how long have you been writing the astrology column?
I think about 3 years now. I could be wrong about that, but it's been like 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
It seems like Stefan was just complaining about it on my kitchen table.
Yes, he sure was, and that's why he threw it at me, and I'm happy to take it.
Yeah. What is it like writing horoscope every week?
It's great, honestly. I've always really been into astrology, but like having to sit down with it every single week and look at everything that's going on gives me I feel like I'm connected with the waves and the tides more. It's just gives me that connection to the stars.
What got you into astrology in the beginning? What kind of spurred you into it?
Yeah, I am a weird, creepy witch nerd. So my whole life I've always been into occulty things, and that was just kind of a natural progression. It's a lot easier to talk to people about astrology than I don't know, not 17th century grimoires or something,
We're a little more responsive.
Yeah.
What I think is really cool is not to say whether you believe in it or not, but even if you aren't so much into it, it is a really great practice in mindfulness.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of just a way you get this little window into what the stars are telling you about your life. And then you take that and you have to think about how it relates to your life. And even if you don't think it is true or real or whatever, it still is a great way to take a moment, see how that relates to your life, take stock in what's going on, and think about it.
Right, exactly. I mean, however you want to say it, whether it's real or not, it's real because it's been a practice tradition for centuries. Right. So, looking at it from a historical standpoint is also really interesting to see what was happening when, in for example, right now we are going through Pluto retrograde, and it is in Aquarius. And the last time that happened was the American Revolution. So just to look at things from that perspective, to be like, oh, let's look at a timeline for where the stars were and how terrible everything was, right?
So you're saying there might be another American Revolution?
We're living in historical times.
Aren't we always?
Yeah.
But and the thing that you talk about, whether you believe it or not, it's just as real and as valuable as any religion or
Right.
any set of beliefs. Like I personally don't believe in it, but it doesn't make any less sense than the sky god that only loves you when you do the things he tells you to do.
Right.
Like it's not
Yeah.
there's value in, as you say, self-reflection,
Mhm.
reading like, well, this doesn't pertain to me because I do this. So now I've just thought, oh, I do that, which
Right.
is either good or bad.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's also like the idea that like, oh, I just read a chart and it says I'm like this, so naturally you just start behaving like that, But it's something for everyone, right? Who doesn't love a little bit of astrology, whether you believe in it or not?
Oh, 100%.
Since you are the expert, what is your least favorite sign? Who do you avoid?
What are you? To begin with, what are you?
You're Pisces, right?
I'm an Aquarius. I don't know if I want to say it out loud. No, Capricorn.
Capricorn. Least favorite.
Least favorite.
Why? What are Capricorns?
We're too much alike, but they get more done.
So is it envy?
Yes, for a little bit.
I'm the best sign.
Yes, a
Which is-
Libra.
exactly.
Libras
The best
are
one.
wonderful signs. They're good communicators. They love justice.
One thing I will say, and every time I say this, people are like, they say that can't be possible, but most people, the most prevalent sign in this town is Libra. Everyone in this town is a Libra.
When is that? When does that happen? When is
September, October.
So what were the parents doing? Backtrack 9 months. Is it like the
Cold
middle of winter?
January?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
New England. Nothing else
But
to
also,
do.
like, anytime I say that, I'm like, who's a Libra? And half the room raises.
Yeah. Also, Leos. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
town where people like to be in front of people, so naturally Leos are
Uh-huh.
drawn to that.
Passive aggressive Leos are the worst.
Don't we know it? So you write the column every single week.
Yes.
And what kind of informs each one? Like, what do you have to do each week?
Yeah, so it's sitting down with I use an astrology app that says where all of the stars and planets are, and it's just kind of like relational, right? So it's like when things are at trines or squares from each other, it dictates like what that relationship means. So like a square is like a more of a harsh negative relationship, and trines are generally like positive, helpful relationships. So I every single week sit down for at least a good 2 hours and just look at where they are and try to form a bit of a narrative story about how those would interact. Yeah. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
And one of the great things about the Independent is you know him. The reporters live here. The reporters are part of the community, which maybe that's why we support our local independent newspaper.
Yes. And if you can, definitely get a subscription to the Provincetown Independent. And if you can, go over to the local journalism project. You can donate there, and there are so many programs of bringing incredible young people to town to work for the paper.
We're keeping.
Exactly.
And if you need a dog walk,
if you need a dog walk or sit, I am here for you as well.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Of course, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we now have a video from Scarlett about the Thirsty Fashion Show. Check this out.
Hi everybody, it is me, Scarlett. I wanted to come on here and say that we have less than 1 week left until the House of Straws fashion show, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure to get your tickets. You can get them at this link right here if you want, or you can get them right at the door. But the runway will start at 7, so please make sure you get ready and get there early, because we're going to open doors at 6 and the runway will start right at 7. We want to be right on time so our auction can start on time and everybody can buy the items that they want to buy. We want to make sure that everything goes smoothly. But we will see you in less than 1 week on May 15th at the Gifford House. Mwah.
welcome Michael Spencer Phillips, the choreographer, creator of site-specific dances, who's here to do a very exciting project, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Michael. I'm the co-artistic director of Site-Specific Dances, which I run with my husband, Dino Kiratsides, who is a fabulous architect in New York. He can't be here this weekend. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Site-Specific Dances is an interdisciplinary arts company based in New York. We work with, I'm a choreographer, my husband's an architect. We work with video artists, composers, dancers, musicians, visual artists, video artists. I mean, we really truly are interdisciplinary. And the project that we're going to be doing here in Provincetown is called Erosions. And the project kind of investigates the erosion of our LGBTQ oral histories, you know, our storytelling, our passing down of like the fun knowledge, the stuff that isn't going to be in the museums or in, you know, necessarily maybe every documentary. And then the erosion of the site itself. You know, we hear about the park, we hear about, you know, the things that are happening with climate and our changing coastlines. And, you know, because queer people have always gone to the end of somewhere, we're now finding that our queer spaces are, you know, they are in threat. And so this project investigates through interviews, through oral history of people who are new to Provincetown and people who have been here for years and years to exchange those intergenerational stories. And then also we're working with Marc Adams in the Center for Coastal Studies so that when we create work, it is based in research and that we're artists, but we want to make differences in communities, you know, socially, environmentally, and that requires the expertise of people who can really tell us what's happening. And we weave those interviews together, and those are the prompts for movement workshops. So we'll be having all of these free movement workshops around Provincetown between June 2nd and June 22nd. And those workshops will facilitate kind of building a performance that is made by the community. And the performances of that will be on June 20th and 21st out at Race Point at 6:30 p.m. And, you know, projects like this just take so many people and partnerships and a lot of legwork. And I've been very fortunate to be able to be coming back and forth between here and New York. And, you know, we couldn't do this without organizations like the Commons and Fine Arts Work Center and Provincetown Arts Society, which is hosting a benefit for us next weekend on Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. Tickets are available, all of that. You know, these projects cost money. You know, they do to build, you know, to bring a few dancers with us here to help facilitate all of the workshops, be teaching artists, all of that. And then, you know, community members, people like, you know, Ken Folk and Gavin Kennedy and Terrence Meck and Patrick McNamara and all of these people who have kind of like come around us to help create something that truly is for Provincetown. We document this entire process with a lot of video and interviews, and everything then gets edited into kind of this video installation project that then lives on. But in 2026, that video project will be a gift to Provincetown from Site-Specific Dances.
And you've done this all over.
We have. So we've done this with fire resiliency in Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park, working with the park system. We did this in Northern Ireland with a group of Catholics and Protestants between the ages of 5 and 85, and staged performances all around Derry around the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. And what I've seen is that these projects bring people together in a way that, you know, we don't, sometimes taking time for a dance workshop can lead to you're walking down the street and then you know that person that maybe you didn't know before. And it creates a bond of, you know, building something and performing something together that I think really changes a community in really positive ways. And the thing I love about Provincetown is that there is such a strong community here already. People are, you know, lovely to one another. And
not on social media,
but it, you know, it builds these connections that maybe weren't there before. And the intergenerational part of the project here, I think, as I've already been doing research for over a year, is people who have been here a long time and people who are new, and how those people come together and live in a way that they can share their stories with one another, what it's like to live here year round and maybe have trouble with housing and to be working multiple jobs, versus someone that can afford to have this be their summer respite, and bringing those people together. And so one of the things that we're doing for our benefit next weekend is, you know, we have tickets available for anyone that obviously can attend, but for people that can't attend, we have a ticket that is to support a local artist or a local full-time person here in Provincetown so that they can attend.
So you're basically buying a ticket for someone who wouldn't be able to afford it.
Right. I mean, these types of events, and you know, are sometimes they exclude certain people. And let's face it, sometimes artists make the party.
Right.
And sometimes they can't afford, well, most times I am an artist. Most times I can't afford to go. But a lot of times I get invited. And that is a lovely feeling to be able to attend something and say, someone that had the means allowed me to come and have this experience. And I think that also is a way for young artists to then, you know, meet people that they don't know, to be patrons of their work, or, you know, it just builds community in really interesting ways. And I've seen it work from, you know, as a person, as an artist, an artist that has struggled for, you know, years and years and years. Being a dancer is not, you know, it's glamorous sometimes, but it's definitely not easy on the pocketbook.
Well, and I think you've gone about it the right way, and sort of like reaching out to organizations that have been here for a while. You're not just dropping in and being like, I'm cute. Like you are, but that's the point. Like that you've done the work to approach different organizations, and you know what work and
get a lot of people involved.
Yeah, and also like that is community. It's the commons. It's thing. It's just like getting people who wouldn't normally, as you said, get together and do these things. So are you looking just for dancers for these movement classes, or?
No, I'm a huge believer that anyone can dance. I wouldn't think of these as like some sort of like hard dance class. These are more like movement meditations. So, you know, also you're not gonna be like running, jumping, lifting people like on the beach for a performance. You know, it's very, you know, all of these things are fairly
dancing.
No. I mean, we are bringing 3 professional dancers from New York City who will help facilitate everything, and who will also be performing on the 20th and 21st. But these are really like movement meditations, and the workshops will build the movement for all of those. And so we have, you know, a workshop with 20 Summers. We have a workshop at the Gifford. We have 2 at the Gifford House. We have 1 at Fine Arts Work Center. We have 1 at the Crown and Anchor, 1 at the Boat Slip. You know, we're also partnering with a youth organization called the Rainbow Weavers, and so there will be young people also getting to perform. They're between the ages of like 8 and I think 15. And so they're, you know, this is for everyone, and that's the beauty of it. And I've had people start, you know, sending us little emails that are info@sitespecificdances.com, and they're like, oh, I've been here years and years, and I'm in my 60s, and I used to be a dancer. Can I participate? I'm like,
oh, yeah.
I'm like, you actually are the target. You are like who I'm like dying to have. And so having you know, participation at all of these different workshops, and then people who want to participate in the performances, and you know, it's these projects kind of, we like kind of just push the snowball a little, and then we see what happens as it rolls down the hill. And and usually it's been my experience working on these that they gain momentum, and that's what's really exciting, is because it doesn't, anyone can do some movement like that. Anyone can do that, and when we build the workshops, what we do is we share text, we share parts of the interviews, and we allow people to improvise on what they're hearing. So someone could be saying, I took the hike of my life through the dunes when I was this many years old, and we allow people to improvise on that. And then we facilitate building the movement. And so really, even the choreography is guided by myself and our team, but the movement itself is made by the people that participate in the workshops.
And anything when a large group of people are doing something, whether they're all doing the same movement or doing different things, like, it is a beautiful thing to watch. Like, you were at the monument and just seeing like a woman spinning on a ring over the harbor. I mean, and just seeing 5 people do dance movements up with that backdrop. So when you're in a location that isn't a theater, it adds this whole other layer to it. And it is so beautiful to see.
And it's, dance and music is very ephemeral, like our lives. Everything is kind of fleeting. And if we don't take the opportunity to, go to the thing at the Commons and go to, this drag show and go to hear the music and go see Angels in America, like, if we don't go do those things, like, what is all of it really for? What are we really doing? Like, are we living is not being on our phone, or, I mean, we love Hollywood, but like, it's not necessarily watching, TV and movies and all of these things. It's like, what are our bodies doing? Where are we in space? Who are we actually looking in the eye, moving with, talking to? And that's really what I think makes site-specific dances, which makes our company really special, is because we really do believe that anyone can dance. And if we set up a space with the help of the Cape Cod National Seashore, which has been great, we set up a space that anyone can actually participate in a performance and kind of lock that into their body memory. And, the thing about dance is, I think sometimes people think that it's like they have to understand it or they have to get it, or like, what if I don't get it? And the thing is like, you live in a body. Like, you carry your instrument around with you everywhere. And so being able to, see dance on a stage or see dance in a performance, or, that kind of commonality of like, we are living in our instrument is what I think should make dance very easy to understand. But sometimes it's always hard. People feel weird about their body.
Yeah. So how can people support the project next weekend? How can they get tickets?
So there is a link. I don't know where, maybe it's somewhere on, but there's it's at the Mary Heaton Vorse House from 4 to 6 p.m. on Saturday. I know it's on all of the Provincetown Art Society socials, and they sent out some emails. You can also go on our Instagram, which is Site Specific Dances. The ticket link is on there as well. And I will also be like trying to be out and about. Like, I got a stack of postcards. I will be at every tea. I will be walking around. I will be
You're dancing at tea. Come dance on the
yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, my hope for this project is that it touches as many people as possible, and that it brings us together more.
Fantastic. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I didn't see you around town as well.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Thank you. We know we ran a little long today. Again, I want to really thank the Provincetown Business Guild for letting us sit down here for a few months. It's been a pleasure. Super happy to go to the Commons for a few weeks. And can we announce it?
Yeah, then we will be back at the brewery once they are open at the Crown and Anchor. I think we're going to be there the 26th
of June. June.
Yeah.
And that will be just in time for our 5th anniversary show. So we're going to have We're gonna have a shindig that day.
So put it on your calendar.
Yeah. So we want to thank everyone for tuning in today.
Yeah, we also want to thank our sponsors, the Crown and Anchor, the Boat Slip, the Provincetown Inn, PTV, the PBG,
Provincetown Tourism, and thank you all for watching.
Yeah. Thanks for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
We'll see you next Friday at the Commons. And you'll be happy to know that they're done with the tree.
Just in time. They literally are driving the trucks away now.
No, you're
Thank you, guys.
Can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Make it strong, please. Hey! Oh! Hey!
Wake up, wake up.
Oh! No, really, can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up.
Can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Make it strong, please. Hey! Oh! Hey!
Wake up, wake up.
Oh! No, really, can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.